Hi everyone. This is Jaffatin here, and I am posting this video to actually just confirm what it actually is saying. I am actually gonna scrap the entire arc of Jacob's Riddle, mainly because it's not giving me joy as I thought it was. And the more I thought about this project, the more it got me and it got to the point where it just got me insane. Hang on, let me just eh, yeah, I don't think there's yeah, I'm playing this through my Switch, and the main reason why I'm playing this through Animal Crossing because this was actually the safest place I can actually talk to while talking about why I'm canceling Jacob's Riddle. Let me just let me just like let Isabel talk through, and well, I'll explain my reasons for it. Uh, all right, so so why? So why exactly did I decide to cancel Jacob's Riddle? Well, I have three reasons why I wanted to shut this project down. The first one is the most important one. The first one is mainly because I honestly don't want any bad blood between me and Echo at all, as I've already damaged the friendship enough by just creating this project and just constantly just texting her, which is a very bad move at my end. And it got to the point where I became more desperate than or then try to move on with her. Do I regret? Do I actually feel bad about it? Yes, I do. It was something that it was it was a situation that I never tackled in my entire life. I encountered like most things in my life, but I never encountered where letting go was my only option. And Jacob's Riddle was actually my last ditch effort on proving to her that I loved her on who she is. But but as the project's gone on and the more I actually like dug deeper into like the planning phase of this story, it got to the point where too personal. It became too personal, and I just stopped paying attention to what I actually needed to do to move on. And this project just damaged me more than it helped me. So, yeah, I can't even focus on I can't even focus. So, yeah. And I had like a whole unlisted videos planned, including just showing bits of this little garden I made. This was just a shrine I decided to like create just have my thank you towards Echo for all the years. It was supposed to be like a secret thing, but over time I just right, but over time I just wanted to release it to the public just to show how much I appreciated Echo. It was and for the longest time I haven't really like done my island like ever since like New Horizons came in, and I was originally planning to like have Sky l- like be around this little garden I made, mainly because like I did not because she did actually remind me of like Sky sometimes. And even before meeting Echo, Sky did play an important role in my life. So yeah, like our house is right here, and for like the longest time, I had like a bunch of blue flowers, and I had like a bunch of black roses like on my island, and for a while now, I did not know what to do till of course the breakup happened. Am I planning to like finish this shrine? Yes, I am actually planning to finish this entire shrine. This was actually my choice. It was just something that I've always wanted, which is actually something that I chose to do. It's kind of like a selfish thing for me to do, but it's just like my appreciation on like how much she impacted on my life, because she really did actually change everything like in my life, and I honestly can't, and I'm not extremely good on like letting things go. Guess I'll just start by yeah, I guess I'll just start by like, just cleaning up my island. Cause like for like longest time, I actually want to like finish my island before the new update happened. And yes, I did. I officially gave it an official deadline on where Jacob's Ladder is gonna end. So like during like time of the creation of Jacob's Riddle, there will be like particular events that was going on, and depending on how time was wasted, it really like takes a whole toll on the arc. But over time, it got to the point where I couldn't like push myself to just try to finish the project, and and everything just felt irritating. It got to the point where I can't even motivate myself to even finish the project. And and since November was the day of being thankful, which is supposed to be the year of Thanksgiving, and usually in Thanksgiving, she's always been my default answer of something that I've always been thankful for, but this year I have nothing to be extremely thankful for once. But overall, it she's it's still like the default thing in my mind. But yeah, in this originally in this plan, I was supposed to like display Spiritfarers and Sky Children, uh, and Sky Children of the Light. It was actually the game that she recommended me, and I did never got the chance to like play it fully, mainly because I was too focused on like my main channel instead of like being there for her. And it was the one thing I regretted, and I was also thinking about like planning to show like a side of me that I know I'm not confident on sharing the world, but it is like related to like one of my biggest insecurities on why I don't feel comfortable like sharing the content I usually post. Uh, It's no, it's an 100% an insecurity of me, mainly because I do actually get scared and like how people are the majority of the time. I'm not exactly the social type of person. sorry if I get like distracted and stuff. Like I don't do well when it comes to multitasking. Speaking of multitasking, I also should probably explain on why exactly like multitasking while working on this project did not help me at all. Technically, while I was working on this project, I did not exactly. I was more also focused on like my own problems, and so like yeah, I was only focusing on the problems I had from ever since the breakup. I've all and like for a while I've been like asking myself on what I did wrong. If there's like a way for me to like try to try to help myself just by not doing the same mistakes again. I have been go and yes, I have been going to therapy lately, and so far, uh, the so far the folks that's been actually helping me like the folks that's been helping me like get help really did. I have been like I am slowly getting better. I have been slowly getting better lately, but it's still the start, and it is a very slow process, and I'm still at the stage where I am still thinking about Echo all the time, which is something I should not be thinking about. Should not be thinking about. And a lot of and the one core thing I'm always that I actually got concerned that a lot of that that I know what every guy usually like goes through with the breakup. What I'm trying to say is, am I actually thinking about the real Echo Nightwing? Sadly, no. I don't. I honestly don't like the current version of Echo Nightwing, and as harsh as it sounds, I'm just being honest with myself. The more I, the more I think about the situation I got myself into, and and yes, I still stand true on what I said in my previous video. Everything in that relation was my fault, and I am sure, and I am planning to try to tackle all the things that I caused her to not trust me anymore. And I am, I can't even explain to words. I got rid of Jacob's Riddle mainly because of just this, just me feeling bad that I just made the situation way worse than I originally intended. And to be honest, I have nothing else to say aside from just I can't just just to show that I don't exactly deserve like this kind of like sympathy at this point. Like this has always been like a problem, always been a problem with me, and always a problem with me. I always like self-doubt myself every single time when I try to come up with an idea. There was a at first glance it was a good idea, but at the end of the day, never. It wasn't the. At the end of the day, it's usually just me having trouble just trying to motivate myself, and for like a while now, that it also like affected the almost every project I have. Jacob's Riddle was supposed to be. I might as well like yeah, I'm going like out of context on why exactly I canceled Jacob's Riddle, and I just like basically just explained everything again. So Jacob's Riddle was is an actual sad story. It was originally supposed to be an Animal Crossing ARG where this little guy yeah, the this one, yeah, he is an official character. He is an official character. He represents a character, a version of me that always like doesn't get scared of like expressing himself. He's always like being himself, like always being himself. He is basically the voice of reason, usually the voice of reason, and he was supposed to be the heart of the court. His he's basically just represents like what I originally was before I met Echo. And for like the longest time, I just kept that as a secret from her. Just just the fear that she would get paranoid that I have different versions of myself, and of course and I and in the story I actually intended on hiding that fact that this version that I have like different versions of myself. And and I wanted to put that like into the storyline cuz like she never cuz like a lot of cuz like in the story you never knew which version of Justin you're gonna like encounter. Um, for the entirety of the main channel, including the Toy House account I have. I should probably explain what Toy House is, because like that also actually ties into everything, also ties into everything that I actually crafted. Everything I've crafted, all the creations I have only just takes place into like websites that actually made a huge impact on my life. Uh, all right. Okay, Sucker, what's the name? Professor Potty. Um, I can accept the name, but but it's a bad time, Zucker. Like, I'm actually wanna like explain this seriously. Like, this is this actually something that I wanna like to tell? Okay. Anyways, dang it, Sucker. Anyways, yeah, the event did took place like in Toy House, and and I ended up like building a like a like an area ground where over time you get to see where over time you get to see how how each character gets affected and which world has been affected. So far, I only like affected the particular worlds and I only affected particular worlds that has Toy House and media that actually did reference Echo like in my original works, and that's another reason why I had to like scrap the project itself, because I actually spent years of actually crafting these type of characters, and just all of them was just through just how much I loved Echo, and she like there was like a lot of inspirations I had from her that just went into my projects, and just killing the mobs just makes me just feel guilty inside. I have villains that was meant to be killed, but like these types of creations were like different. Like, my biggest regret is just like killing these two. Icarus was just an actual reflection of like was a character that she never actually got the chance to actually expand, and I thought it was a good idea to like have Icarus to be a reflection of the viewpoint of someone new. And Jaden is just a reflection of myself that I didn't actually told I didn't get the chance to tell on how much I really loved it, but at the time I just didn't know how to tell her I hated myself. I'm already too late on just telling her that, but my biggest regret is just killing off Jaden than Icarus. Because I don't know. I don't know. It's just like just thinking about it just makes me sad, and, and I want to like move and I want to move on I want to move on just like thinking about like Echo, but it's already like difficult for me to even like think about like what I can do next and what I can actually do next without having the thoughts of Echo. But yeah, throughout the entirety of the project, I kept constantly thinking about thinking about like how Echo is doing, and it's been affecting my day-to-day life. And honestly, I needed some recommend and a lot of folks from my end kept recommending me to like just cut ties into anything like related to her and just focus on myself the majority of the time. Uh, it is a good decision. It was, and I had to explain to them it was that is exactly what I'm actually trying to do. Like ex I even like stated it in the video that I am actively just want to move on, but like these feelings are just stuck. Like my feelings for Echo is still there. These thoughts of how Echo's doing is still there. The only thing I can just do is just try to distract myself, trying to finish like the next couple of projects I have in mind to at least distract myself and finally just like leave, finally just like leave Echo alone for, yeah, I'm, yeah, I honestly don't want to say too much. I honestly like going out of track and just ruin I, yeah, that's another reason why I had to like scrap Jacob's Riddle. Just me thinking about like how Echo is and how ec- how how many things that I tackle with Echo, and it's been 3 months. It's been 3 months ever since the break. And at this point, I'm not doing too well. Not doing too well. Like, I got to the point where I just went insane, just admitting that I can't be happy without thinking about Echo. And think, yeah. No, this is no bid or anything. This is exactly like how I'm feeling right now. Just, I didn't know that I caused too much damage to the point where that I've been like self-aware that what I was doing not, r- was not, was, was wrong. Yeah, what I was doing was wrong. I should have, and again, it got to the point where I got too personal with everything, especially with the storytelling, like with the storytelling aspects on how much this was a big deal. Even like I even like looked into the her personal Animal Crossing town to just to get stale cupcakes in. Like, this was originally supposed to be Mr. K. Supposed to be Mr. K, and not to mention like I even like did some effects with my character. This is just the current one I have so far, and I don't, and it was supposed to like show that my character was just doomed from the start, and I don't know. And over time, I just wanted to like just show how much appreciation I had with her, like in this particular project, but it got to the point where I just went insane went insane, and I ended up like pissing her off more than I originally should. And and around and when and what had me thinking about like scrapping the project is when I decided to like go to art fight. When I go to art fight, just preparing the characters in mind, and that's when I've noticed that she's not gonna care about what I'm gonna do. So that's another reason, and that's just a wake up, and that's just like another wake up call, just saying like she just doesn't want to acknowledge it, and I just want to move on from it. Just want, and just move on, just focus on yourself. And honestly, I stopped talking to her. I honestly just stopped talking to her after she told me to not talk to me ever again. It it did got me up. It did got me upset. I did say something to her that pissed her off, and I I couldn't like and I should have kept my mouth shut. I'm sorry. I am doing my hardest to try to explain Jacob's riddle, but I think I ended up like venting. I think I ended up like venting again on how much this breakup like really affected me. Because originally I I was okay with just waiting for the right time. Just waiting for the right time. But but I but but I got to the point where I just ran out of I just got like angry, and a lot of the negative stuff that happened in my personal day-to-day life just gotten worse, and my anger issues just got more aggressive, and it also and I guess the main intact and I unintentionally translated it into like some of the projects I've been doing. I even like made a scene where I've changed my Steam profile picture, which I'm planning to change it. I'm planning to change it, because like it had a lot of so, hate messages. So I'm obviously going to delete that. I am obviously going to delete that because it was supposed because it was uncalled for me, and I was I just showed just a bit of aggression towards someone that didn't need to be involved in the situation. I still, but but about the self-hatred message was not a lie. Honestly, after honestly, I guess I should also like not also mention about this. Willow, I think the main reason why I had Willow in my town was actually because of Echo. And the name Willow was extremely important to the relationship for a while. So yeah, I've been honestly thinking about like changing some characters within my village. In the and for a while now, I had Willow and Rob in my town for quite a long time, but yeah, I'm planning to yeah, but I was planning to have Willow. Yeah, I have there was only for now I have like two villagers that I was planning to like have them move out, mainly because like I did have some new villagers that I had, which was actually the two villagers called named Bella and Fruiska. Another villager that I know that I'm planning to have move out is Robin, mainly because I don't have any any friend connections with it, any connections with them. And for for a while now, I've been thinking about like my town lately, because This was my safe space for quite a long time. Ah, dang it! I'm trying to explain like why I have to like cancel, why I had to like cancel Jacob's Riddle sent down. I'm just gonna like sit myself down in the town hall and just try to explain everything. So let me reset this again. Let me reset it again because I can't think because I actually can't think straight. Because every time I play Animal Crossing, I feel extremely relaxed. Like for the longest time, I have never got the chance to display what my hometown, what my personal safe space is. And originally I thought it was inspired by Echo Nightwing, but no, this was actually something that's been on the works for quite a long time. And it was thanks to her support, like just her support, it got me thinking on what my personal space is. And so part of what Jacob's Riddle was, it's just not only just the basic concept of the overall message behind the storyline, but it's also just the introduction of what my fictional world Eternia is. Mainly because for the longest time did stuck with the name Eternia, mainly because it did have like a stick to it, but but it was I think it was a scrapped name, and it got to the point where I had no idea what to do with the name. It used to be like in an original group chat name, like it was like a name just for like me and my friend groups. But until like a couple of years later, the more I got to like observe myself while I was in that relationship, I ended up like realizing that I grew attached to Animal Crossing a lot when I was a kid, and I decided to make the universe there. And I've also noticed I played a lot of Fire Emblem games, also which also actually explains why the main antagonist it felt why the main antagonist felt like something from the Fire Emblem realm. Either way, I don't know how to explain it, but it was the Eternia was the personal safe space multiverse that was supposed to combine Animal Crossing and Fire Emblem, and it just combined them together just to create one universe within it. Of course, I already know there's like existing ones over there, but this is just like just a personal thing for me, and I honestly don't I don't actually use Eternia just for like making entertaining stuff. No, this is just something that fits me personally. And for like a while now, for a while now, I did grew attached to like a lot of the characters within, within the games. The town you see here was in fact actually was built like back in 2020, which is around the time where Echo's villager was, which is actually another thing I should explain about why the memory that the villager was raised was his time with Echo Nightwing in Animal Crossing. Because for like the longest time, I did pasted some pictures in my post where I actually display like how much it devastated me, and I think that's how the idea has started. Actually, just for like a better aesthetic, go to a, let me go to an area where more it feels more fitting. Because like this is actually about how exactly Jacob's riddle started, and it needs more explanation on like why exactly I built this shrine. Alright, so So yeah, originally, this Jacob's Riddle wasn't supposed to happen. It was originally just a community post after my farewell showcase. That was supposed to be the introduction of Riley Mendoza, which is supposed to be like Dance Central OC I had, which is Dance Central OC I had like for quite a long time, and I was doing like a retelling of a story of an existing mod showcase. And I think out of nowhere, I ended up like having this twisted idea of pacing like an ARG story where it's just a story about a villager, which is this little guy sitting down right here, is about to like experience harsh, like constant pain that was based on the breakup that already happened, and of course the story was supposed to be a one perspective, supposed to be one side, one perspective. So the story was made to actually try to frustrate people. It was made to actually replicate how my mind is 24/7. It was like a arc where exactly like how exactly did I experience within the relationship, which is something which is far more complicated than when I try to translate it into fiction. Not to mention I did this was actually this did started after the marathon, which I've been losing motivation lately, but mainly yeah, mainly because like Mecca was my only motivation in life. Sorry, I was just drinking water. Yeah. So so yeah, so yeah, so yeah. So over time, I ended up like creating like this, and for a while now, I noticed that and I have like an anti side, which is technically the opposite of what I actually am as a person. And over time, and it got to the point where like I started like acting as the villain too literate, as it got to the point where it got creepy, and got to the point where it's creepy, it got to the point where it gets concerning, it got to the point where it's became like an actual reflection on what I'm going through. And I gotta be honest, I'm planning to like keep the character because this it is like the current status of what I'm going through and how I actually feel myself nowadays. And feel myself nowadays, and of course my and I made it like obvious confirmed that my character is just like my avatar is just sleeping in a willow tree, just like waiting for Echo to return, but deep down I just knew that it's never gonna happen. So and and so for that, and like for a while now, I just decided to like create a like a memory new concept I had called a memory core. It was mainly just to fill in the lore aspects on why exactly I kept constantly thinking about like Echo all the time. And so the memory core is just having just having just that particular memory learn the world about Eternia, and I basically just built a Spotify playlist to just basically structure on how exactly it was built. Um, I already have like a dedicated playlist for the creation of the Echoing Defender, and I'm also currently building a playlist of the world of Eternia, where the spirit companion of the Echoing Defender is the main focus of the story. It is supposed to be a self-reflection type of playlist for me, but I honestly rather like step down, just like having my character as the main focus. And yeah, so and if you guys are concerned if it's just based on if I'm gonna like drag Echo into this, no, this is just referencing everything I remembered from Echo 9. This is just the memories. This is just based on my internal memories with Echo Nightwing. And if she honestly has like a problem with it, I do not mind like talking to her about this kind of stuff. 'Cause, like, but this is like something that actually has been like planned for like a couple of years now. Because one thing that I know I'm extremely insecure about is having other people involved into my fiction. A couple of people, only my closest friends, which is technically the Syndicate of Gamings, have actual access, actually have like access to try to learn about Eternia as a world. Even though like my other versions of my characters are like canon within their worlds, and I'm just not sure if they're willing to like expand the story aspects within it. But yeah, but for this occasion, I decided to like experiment with just how memory cores work, and I just did my best to try to replicate on what I remembered from Echo through my perspectives. And currently and it is canon that my character does have gonna have a companion for the first time. I and in my farm and my in my upcoming Fire Emblem video, um, I will actually explain on why it has been through the fifth variation. Um, I'm just trying to like trying to like write the history based on my experiences, trying based on my experiences throughout my life. Because Eternia as a world itself was created back in 2015, and the main reason why this was the 10-year anniversary of my Animal Crossing town is mainly because it was the same time I started playing Fire Emblem. Yeah, so this little guy is in fact one of the very first characters I have, and at the time he wasn't like an actual character itself. It was just a reflection on what I am. So basically the literal vanilla Jafai Yellow 24. And speaking of Jafai Yellow 24, Yellow's yeah, I'm keeping my avatar just the same way. I did change aspects of my primary avatar, which I will going to be releasing soon will be releasing soon. But for this one, I'm deciding not to like change anything from this little guy because like he does represents like a positive influence in my life. He is basically someone that I actually grew up. He became someone I actually grew up with. Technically, just my reflection with myself. And no, he is not asexual. I have encountered a situation where this little flag, the little flag right here, like where my little yellow cap is, was the symbolism of asexual. No, this character is straight. He just rather be. He's just the type of guy who just wants to help everyone as he can. So he's like a kid at heart. But yeah, uh, but which is also an important key factor because like in the story of Jacob's Ladder, this little guy was in a panic because like he was in fear of like deleting having this island deleted. This was actually a key fact. This was actually important to the lore because the the riddle was actually crafted to be in a time limit, and patience and preservation and predictions is your biggest key into like solving this riddle. Because in my entire life, I had to like be patient with a lot of things, like when, including like when I was supposed to like help Echo around, supposed to help Echo, but I honestly realized I honestly wasted a lot of time than I ever intended, and I ended up doing it again when I made this riddle, because like I had so many things that got caught in my mind that it ended up like becoming like a far more disaster than usual. And for like a while now, yeah, dang it, I think I was just I was just thinking about like how exactly it kind of like ruined like time process. And around the time of like trying to build a structure, I was like multitasking on like trying to build Eternia as a world itself. And believe it or not, Burbank is part of Eternia. And I do have like another town called Toluca, which is basically my experience with Wild World. This one's just another personal one, and I have shown and I did not show a lot of a lot of Toluca World because like it was just a first time experience playing Wild World because I did not know Animal Crossing released on the DSi, and I decided to give it a try, and it did felt like the old Animal Crossing. I did actually grew attached to some of the villagers. In fact, my very first villager in that particular village was Tangy, the orange cat. So like she was part of the cat. She became one of the most important people. Like I never expected. One I never expected, similar to how Nibbles was actually one of the important peppy villagers. Yeah, and there was. I will like list down some of the villagers that actually like made a huge impact on my life. But yeah, but yeah, yeah. Speaking of villagers, I should probably like say on why exactly this little guy kind of accepted the fact that he knows that he will be okay. Mainly because he basically just reflects just my positive aspects of it. This character was supposed to represent the heart. Now, this little guy was supposed to represent just a kid who at least acknowledges and has a better understanding on towards things. Basically, a side of me just basically just knows everything will be okay, even though in reality I am far from okay. I am not doing okay mentally. So parts of it, and this, and I always use this avatar just to make sure that I'm doing a-okay. So technically, I am myself when it comes with my Animal Crossing character. And I did have like an Instagram. I used to have an old Instagram account like before I met Echo. That account is still dead. I just only used it just for the sake of Jacob's Riddle. I'm not planning to like go into that account. It was supposed to be a lamp. Okay, that was actually the topic I left off. So my character found out he was supposed to be a lamb, and the term lamb is supposed to just be used for sacrifice. Over time, I ended up like thinking about it for constantly. The more I actually like type about it, and it got me to the point where I started questioning on why exactly am I dragging my personal safe space into like something so personal. And I also like did that with some of the other crap I did. Riley was also like considered like one of the lambs. I had and I accidentally like killed off Christopher, and even though I did not actually wrote it down or like made it official, and I think I probably did, but like I'm honestly just gonna like scrap the entire Jacob's Ladder story and just focus on just like trying to finish my projects and just finishing everything. And might as well like talk about and and I had like two unlisted videos. I had like four more. I have like two more ready to upload, but around like the fourth day, I just knew it wasn't getting anywhere, and I just knew I just had to scrap it entirely. And around the previous time before I get before I entirely canceled it, I ended up releasing like a Halloween showcase of the Finance of Freddy's 2 Maxwell song. It was supposed to be the introduction of the anti-Justin, which was probably the most disturbing thing I've ever done in terms of showcase, because I did actually use a lot of reference towards Echo, especially just her favorite colors, and just having just you it's just I was proud of like how my editing skills was, but I wasn't proud of like on what it was used for. I didn't mind using my characters for anything scary factor. I'm into like a lot of scary stuff. It's just I just regret just like dragging her into like the Halloween special because like it was crafted just through Jacob's Riddle, but over time it just got over time it was something that I just deeply regret. And honestly, I'm hoping I don't do that again. Hopefully I just don't do that again. Yeah, I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself. There's like a lot of things wrong with this project and why I have to scrap it. Not to mention, I got one of my personal favorite character OCs I had like into this mess because like she was supposed to be, she was actually the one character that I actually had years of writing the time I got to know Echo. It was the most well thought out character I ever done. It was also the first time I actually wrote an actual wholesome relationship between her and Christopher, which is basically just like my perspective of the whole entire relationship. But even like some of the song choices was even like thought out too. And of course, like I did talk to Echo about like how her songs supposed to represent, and but I did most of the talking. But like I don't know. All I know is the like Riley was one of the characters that was well thought out. There was also there was like other media that I've referenced like within the riddle. Pokemon was supposed to be the next topic. Was supposed to be the next topic because like it was supposed to be like the Pokemon Roosevelt, and mainly because like I've always pictured her with like having like a Roosevelt as a Pokemon, including like Corviknight. But, but for the longest time, let her. I didn't like ask if she wanted to be part of the Pokemon, one part of my Pokemon series, and just Pokemon series, man, because like I had like a Pokemon series in the works. Um, the next one, which was supposed to be like this November, which is supposed to be like the Avatar core of like Sky Children and just one of the games that I honestly personally hated, which was Spearfarers. But after the breakup, I honestly am willing to give the game a second chance because like that game was about letting go, and of course, letting go was my number one biggest fear in life. Was my biggest fear in life, and I played bits of it. I think I had to like hide the fact that I was traumatized. Not traumatized. I was just speechless about it because like at the time I just didn't want to show her that it was my biggest insecurities. And even if I did show it, I can't exactly remember, but I didn't want to like show her that me just letting things go scares me the most. So I just secretly hated the game without her knowing. And it was one of her personal favorite games. So if I just say that out of the blue, she would like be hurt about it, which is something I didn't want to do. And I think after that, I was supposed to show like a Mario related showcase where there was like this one particular character I had called, it was like a shy guy. I think it was just a shy gal character. No, we no wait. It's not a Mario character. It was actually a me series because like I did grew attached to Mia's, not me, Echo's me, and there was like one particular me character named Gabriella, which is supposed to be like an alternative love interest for Kane, which is basically just like a reflection. It was supposed to be like a message of I've lost my self of identity ever since I got separated, and I had this like twisted idea where the character was just like faceless or just like have parts to make all the characters look like her, which was honestly the creepiest thing I've ever came up with because I ended up deleting her me by the time the breakup happened, and I already unfriended her like on my personal 3DS and it's I think it got to the point where it's that obvious that I just need space just for both of us. She mainly needs space for me, mainly space for me. But I also like felt like I need space because like I honestly need a break too, just from dating. Sorry, it's just in my system like it was like getting dark. Anyways, then like after that, then after the me, then it's the Nintendo one. Technically, it was supposed to be like a shy gal, but and according to the internet, that those particular gals are just known for like a particular topic that I'd rather not talk about. But it was supposed to represent like the original point of the video I made, where I kind of like beauty for her body, and it was supposed to show that she was not made for it, and in the environment, like like that particular character is from, but and there was like only one that's just like genuine, and I was planning to show bits of like Super Mario Galaxy within the background, because like the most important aspect of the relationship was just the connections of like the connections between how we view Super Mario Galaxy. She played the first game, like she grew up playing Galaxy. Well, I ended up like playing Galaxy 2, but didn't play as much. But I knew we both bonded when just like agreeing that that Galaxy was the best game for nostalgia. Nowadays, I just feel that's my number one traumatic trauma triggers when it comes to past relationships, because I did actually grew attached to the stars when I was a kid, and since I know it was popular and the movie's like coming out, I can't even like see it the same way ever again without thinking about her. And then like after that, that's when I decided to like show the Final Fantasy decided to show the Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, which I did actually pasted in the recent post triggering event where the Echoing Defender is secretly building the Crystal Chronicles. That one was actually prepared to be built, and it was actually based on like how I actually think about Echo throughout my years, and since it was like the 50th anniversary, because it was originally planned that particular video was originally planned when I found out that Final Fantasy was released in Magic the Gathering. So that's how the idea of the Crystal Chronicles universe was released. And I remember like talking to her about like anything related to Final Fantasy. She told me she got attached to the game called Crystal Chronicles, and I decided to like look it up what it is, and honestly, it did actually like look extremely interesting, and it got a lot of and it had some like interesting character customizations. Mainly just like 8 of them, but she but there was like a but she only showed me the version. She only showed me like the DS version, not the one the one with the not the one where you can customize your character name like an act. I'll put up the title of the game so you can exactly see like what it's talking about. But the more I actually like research again, the more I actually thought about a universe, actually thought of a universe for it, And for like ones, I decided not to like have me as as the creator of the universe. I decided like have her as the creator of the universe, and the idea is still there. It's just I'm just I just know I'm not the creator. I just know I didn't want my character to be the creator of that universe because like that one was 100% and was an important key factor into like the storyline because it was the actual first time where I wasn't actually implementing my idea into like a universe that is entirely focused on just on my on my usual ideas. It was the first time I actually experimented on a universe that was actually implemented by someone else, and it was at and it was honestly the only universe that actually wasn't confirmed by me altogether. And of course, in the story of Jacob's Riddle, it was eventually where my anti-character decided to like take it over take over and every time. Then and then the big twist happens that I hang on a second. Sorry about that. I just had to check on something real quick. Anyways, then after the final after the plot twist happens, the my anti character does then decide to confront Riley about it, then just eventually just try to kill her off, which is something I know I would never do, then eventually the last lamb was my little villager, which is basically just the last glint of hope before his memories gets wiped. And also forgot to mention like Naomi also made a huge impact on the character too, including Sky. In fact, for like a while now, I made my character like scared of talking to Sky, mainly because she did actually have palette like a palette skills that I actually would like visit Sky just to just to make me feel like I'm comfortable again. Oh, what the heck? Um, yeah. So yeah, and if I'm being honest, this is the only room I decorated in. I'm planning to like redecorate it again to like add one special like artwork I've been planning to make, but yeah, I guess I'll hang around here with Sky I'll just hang around with Sky for a bit. Anyways, yeah, so yeah, did act so Sky definitely did play an important role into the storyline because she did actually represents the secret guardian of like between me and Echo, and I actually didn't know that Echo grew attached to Sky because like I only introduced told her that Sky did actually and was Sky was actually did felt like someone that could actually rely on, but over time I didn't know that they both feel extremely similar. I still actually get attached to Sky instantly because she was actually the very first villager I actually grew up with, like during my New Leaf era. But over time, I did not notice that there was like almost similarities on like what these two have in common. So then, of course, there's like another couple of villagers that I ended up like seeing in her town, and another one I didn't know that she would get attached to is Frida, and I told her my time on Hot, and I told her like I did actually met Frida in like New Leaf Town, but I could not exactly remember like how long it took, but I remember she was a cool villager to say. But here's that. I guess and yeah, that's basically it for like the story plot line. Now I wanna like talk about the anti-villain of technically the anti-villain is supposed to be the actual person, but his creation was just out of nowhere. He was after the event. It was supposed to be the event after the creation of the Echoing Defender, and all of a sudden my character just suddenly felt like anger and got to the point where I ended up accidentally killing and made my anti-character kill Jaden, which is basically the character that Echo actually made for me, which I instantly regretted. And one of the twisted things I did for to come up with the idea was just making it have like two versions of it. One where is just my default avatar, while the other one is just a disguised version of what Jaden was. So it is not and no, the Jaden and the Antony are not the same character. It's he's using he just basic. I accidentally killed Jaden as a character and just made the anti form, which I and this wasn't with Echo's permission. I just killed off the character off because I just vented. I just was angry at myself, and it just suddenly just like had a vision where it just like killed a killed a version of myself. I just didn't because like I had so much self hatred in that in it and in Jacob's Riddle there was a lot of references of self harm, and it got me extremely concerned within myself to the point where I just decided to just stop here and just want to take a breather with take a breather and just like keep everything to myself yet again. And got to the point where I'm starting to lose my mind over time. But then I honestly, the more I actually think about the relationships between like this little being my Animal Crossing villager and the anti-me, it definitely felt like it was the same argument for years, for like constant years and years and years later. It's like basically just arguing with myself on what's the right choice. Part of me wants to embrace the memories I had with Echo, while the other one just want to like get rid of everything that referenced Echo. But I'm leaning towards just trying to. I'm like in a clash between like both of them. So I just represented these two characters, just like basically just like what's right and what's wrong. So I basically just like created this plot line. I basically just like create this hidden message. Like there's two sides of it, and no matter like what perspective you have, no matter what perspective you have, it always leads to one message. Moving on is just the right decision. Embracing is just like you could actually like create a new idea and just based on the memories you have and just like show appreciation. While the other one is just like basically just trying to actually get rid of the trying to get rid of any resemblance of what the person made an impact for. Like it's pretty obvious. It's like I had like a good perspective, a bad perspective. Like it's supposed to represent like is just positive mindset, negative mindset. Overall, it's just like it was basically just embrace versus change overall. And no matter like how you view it, no matter how you view it, at the end of the day, it's always going to be the same message. You basically just like evolved from like what you've experienced. But over time, I'm ended up like leaning towards you have to change everything or embrace it. But it got to the point, but overall, it got to the point where it got too complicated, where I just have to like scrap it entirely. I'm still, but I do like the idea of like embrace versus change concept because for the longest time, I don't want to change anything that I've created. I always like appreciate everything that I've encountered. I always appreciated on what I've learned like from my experience. I'm honestly appreciative that I even got like even got like creative people. The riddles wasn't actually the my idea. I actually it was actually all Riku Noah. And so he was slightly involved with this project. He was only there just for the riddle hints. And honestly, it was the most creative hints I ever seen, just based on something personal. Something personal. But I had to tell him that the project gets canceled before recording this video, and yeah, I gotta give shout out to him to like for creating this riddle, like for creating like the riddle hints. It was supposed to like help, supposed to like help, like for like supposed to help you guys just like see understand on where exactly everything is. But eventually I ended up like having my little guy just display on what exactly is happening, and it was supposed to be built, and the duration of Jacob's Riddle was supposed to be built after it was already too late and all the pieces were fitted together. And the method of like me trying to like roam trying to like roam around Jacob's Riddle, roam around like the website on which websites to go. I had like a lot of ideas of where exactly the answers are. One of them was no doubt the primary one, which is Toy House, which is basically a website where you can place your dedicated OCs there. That area was in fact the main storytelling where you can actually get the majority of the characters. And depending on what type of character and depending on which franchise it is, it depending on like how further it is, the more difficult it gets. I had like also a bunch of like ways to like crack the code. The first one was basically Decipher, which was based on just the experience I had in a D&D campaign with my couple of friends, with my friends. Echo was in it too, so she already know it was supposed to be like the first step was supposed to be easy for her because like it was actually just supposed to be the introduction of the riddle. The second one was in fact Morse code, which was also the Halloween, which was also the introduction of the Halloween on the Halloween showcase that I explained. So, and basically and if you're curious about what the translation about the Morse code at the end of the video, it was basically just a Markiplier joke. I don't know. I wasn't I don't know. I was a different person when I was in the middle of creating that video. Like I I think I ended up like going insane. Ended up going insane just like creating that video, but at the end of the day it was just messed up. It was still messed up at the end of the day. Then I had like another idea called pagers. It was basically just like the those little things you use at the yeah, it was something that you use at the or something you use. I don't know. Either way, I was planning to use that just for hidden messages and stuff. Another and I think those were like all the ones I had, current ones I had, and of course for that throughout the riddle, I ended up like having like five different like, KK things. The particular songs that I chose was "I Love You," "Pondering." Uh, I'll probably show up the third one because I forgot the name because I never got the chance to use it. The next one. was Hypno, which is technically just a sign that this character is already being affected, and technically the song Farewell, which was supposed to be the symbolism of like that character is already dead, you're already too late. Am I planning to like use those audios? Sadly, probably, because like because there is like another Animal Crossing project I have been working on for a while, and I think Echo knows bits of it, but I actually never told her the full story of it, so I am I'm honestly like 50 on how I feel about that, but I will have it but the statics will be similar to like how this situation is, but this time there will be like a different story take outside of like what Jacob's riddle is. But overall, I know I can properly focus on just my other projects, and I stopped thinking about Jacob's riddle. And I'm also want to use this extra time to just explain my overall thoughts after canceling Jacob's riddle and possibly just wasting an hour, at least an hour of explaining. So, am I disappointed that I closed this project? Honestly, no. It was the right decision for me to close this project down. When I optimized my art fight, I ended up realizing that she just on she got rid of the recommendation to just attack me through future art fights, and that's when I saw that she was just sick of me, and that's when I had the thought if I should just keep this project going. And looking back into like the progression I made, looking back to like how I actually executed it, it was pretty obvious that I'm damaging the friendship more than I originally should, and I'm already too late on just trying to try to explain that I didn't mean it, but I think at this point we just need some time apart and pretend to just forget about each other. For her, I'm not sure what she's thinking about, but for me, I it's gonna be like a lot harder for me to just move on from her because she did impact my life. Is there is the Jake another question that a lot of you guys might be curious about? Am I gonna be keep some of the aspects? Am I gonna keep the lore within Animal Crossing? I honestly no. This one feels too dark to. This one feels too dark and extremely unstructured. This was just one whole big event, and it highly affected all of my creations. Even though I honestly prefer to just like have all of my characters inter instinct universe. I do like messing with the multiverse, but I know if I do too much, it will become like a mess. That is, that is why I'm like limited. That's why I just like have like different sections between my fandom characters, my OC characters, and my and potentially my universe characters. Uh, I am okay with just like doing different drawings, but when it comes with like my lore and my storyboard, I do have actual limitations on where everything goes. Where everything goes. And in this story was basically the first time I actually broke that rule, and it got me extremely uncomfortable. It got to the point where I've seen like how out of control it can get. So no, not the no the no the progression story will not be canon within it. Um, are the another one are some of the characters within Jacob's Riddle be dead? Unfortunately, I can only confirm three characters that are officially dead: Icarus, Jaden, and the futuristic Moriel. Um, Icarus mainly because he was just a he. I did not see any visions with Icarus, and so I just decided to have him officially dead. And he's only going to appear in this Animal Crossing world, because if he was an important character when it comes with world building. Jaden's dead because I accidentally killed him. For Moriel, it was she, and for Moriel, I had planned her to be killed for off. She was actually made to be sacrificed at the end, and in the D&D campaign, and in the D&D campaign, and in the original story of like where she was originated from, she was supposed to be a character that was supposed to die anyway. So and and I'm honestly reverting back to having Christopher die in the story because he was supposed to be built that he was supposed to represent a character that's supposed to be like a like a weak character that doesn't exactly didn't know what to do, and it was supposed to traumatize Riley. Then then so it's to traumatize Riley for the first time, but I did not. I hated the idea, so I just scrapped it entirely. Um, are the elements of Jacob's riddles gonna like stay? Yes, some of the elements are actually gonna stay there. I'm actually gonna like do some changes within my character, within the places that are affected. I'm on the one example is I am obviously gonna like remove the status of what my Steam page is because like when I actually looked back into my Steam page, I did not realize how much I actually spreaded too much hatred. So I'm obviously gonna get rid of the sign where it just says that I just useless. I'm obviously gonna like get rid of the subs. I'm obviously gonna like get rid of the subscription up, get rid of the description. All the videos that was planned to be in Jacob's Riddle, which I think only has one, will be listed in the description of the will be listed in the description of the video. Um, I don't I surprisingly don't have that much when it comes to the whole Jacob's Riddle, when it comes with Jacob's Riddle. And I will be planning to upload the other two videos after this video, either after this video or in the making of this video. Uh, was this was Jacob's Riddle was supposed to be the last ditch attention for Echo? Honestly, the original plan was for her to just straight up ignore all the preparations for Jacob's Riddle, but over time I just had this gut feeling she needs to like see my crabs, but it didn't, and at the end of the day it just didn't work out, and I just scrapped it entirely. So no, she was not supposed to. No, she was not. She was supposed to ignore it at first. Like that was extremely intentional. Like she was supposed to ignore it because like mainly because I honestly knew she would not acknowledge it at all, and I just still kept going anyways, just because that I just wanted to show that it was not. It was just mainly just made for just. It, she was not supposed to like acknowledge it at first. She was not supposed to acknowledge it at first. It was this was planned to like. This was planned to like. This was a failed build at the start. Um, will I actually be doing this type of story building again? Not to the point where I am pushing boundaries. I do actually enjoy making doing bits or role play. This was actually something that Echo actually introduced me to before I actually learned on what role play is. So technically, yes, I will be doing something like this again, but not to the point where I'm just pushing boundaries. Because this, was something that I've always wanted to do for quite the longest time, and since I had to like, and since this project got canceled, I could just confirm that this was just a failed story, and honestly, I'm not too disappointed because I had doubts that this well, this would actually like spread out, but at the end, I didn't feel happy that I just executed it. Do I want Echo to like acknowledge this? Honestly, no. Yeah, she's doing her own thing. I'm doing my own thing. Yeah, all of this was just for me, and it was not ne it was all of this was just for me. Even if I reference Echo, it's just through me only. I stopped trying to like convince her that I still loved her. It was already far too late to even like convince her now. And at this point, I just don't know how to explain to her that I'm aware that you do not want to acknowledge me. I'm just doing my own thing. I already told her I'm gonna reference her a lot. Again, if she has like a problem with it, I do not mind if she wants to talk to me about it. But I already like told her talk to me about it. But other than that, I do not want anything else conversation unless it is related to fiction or just like storytelling or creation. I am honestly okay just talking about just creativity as a whole. Other than that, I do not want to talk about anything else at all. Just that. Are are there are there any future videos planned? Yes, I'm still working on the Fire Emblem video, but honestly, this one might get postponed. The Fire Emblem video might get postponed mainly because I am think I am trying to think about like how exactly I can get get a voice actor for Naui, because that voice actor does because that voice does require someone that is similar to Echo. Cause like I did view her as Echo like in the I did view Naui as Echo sometimes like in the Fire Emblem game, but overall it's overall I don't care on what the other characters would sound like, but I just know Naui has to be extremely important this because that character did actually impact my character's arc, and I want to try to all the translate all the history I had to up to the current one because like one of my main goals in this channel is to actually like retell history to actually try my hardest to try to replicate what exactly happened in my past and why I actually had these characters villagers and why I actually had these visions. It's just basically just trying to retell a story of what already existed. So unfortunately that also goes to the same thing with my Animal Crossing lore. I did actually try to find old files of my time in 2015, including my time like in New Horizon. I only have the screenshots for New Horizons. Unfortunately the screenshots for the first Animal Crossing series has been deleted when I ended up like modding my 3DS. And I was so upset that I ended up having to I was so upset that I realized I don't have any history when it comes to New Leaf. So that's what that's what the current channel's for. Is just to try to replicate on what exactly happened, or just replicate on what happened in the first one. I know in the first one I didn't actually get the chance to make make a pattern, but it ended up like creating like a new storyline where it takes 10 years later, where where my original Animal Crossing town is, and I knew, and I'm honestly hoping, and I kind of like hope it could replicate that through towards the other side of the history. But at the end, I just know I just have to like reimagine, I have to like revision the storyline again because like I know exactly like how I got to here and how I got to New Horizons. Um, if you guys are curious of what current timeline it is for the New Horizons, this is technically the aftermath of Paradise, and my villager doesn't exactly do much in that event. However, I will actually confirm the Jacob's riddles. The flower does actually play an important role in the dream. And since the new update includes dreams, I will actually impact it based on the events of the breakup. So I'm honestly just like transferring. So this idea I had was my character is actually gonna experience losses loss because throughout the Animal Crossing lore, my character constantly deals with attachment issues. So the questions was actually related to this little guy, the my little villager, and for the longest time, he remembers everything. He actually remembers a lot of stuff, and his biggest problems was him him having attachment issues. So, and later on, he learns that he is actually confirmed as one of the most powerful characters out of all the characters I have. He is technically just an important character within the universe than he thought. And also, there's also one more thing I want to confess to Echo before I actually end this video. So let me actually like set up a scenario. I'm actually gonna like set up the actual place. Set up place. So I told her that my inner child was crying. Well, I thought, originally I thought it was Riley, but no. My inner child this whole time was this little guy. Yeah, that's my inner child. This little villager. Like, this goofy villager you've been hanging out with the entire time was my inner child this whole time. And and this guy has been keeping tabs on everything. He's been curious on why he's been absent for quite a long time. He's seen like how you are. He's seen everything, and ever since ever since like I have this little guy help, and little guy helped you feel have this little guy basically just like the positive side of myself. Like I think the only positive side I showed, and I ended up like seeing like how much you progressed in New Horizons. I've seen like how much you made your island look. I was just I just smiled and felt happy. Yeah. So so this little guy, he's he is reckless. Like he doesn't even think straight. Like and then of course as you could see he tries his best to try to finish this down, but no, like this little guy has always been my inner child the entire time. Child the entire time. Like it's just a simple it's just a simple villager who's just trying his best to just help everyone as he can. Of course, he doesn't understand the basic of like what realism is. He doesn't have the basic understanding of like what is real and what's not. This little guy is just living life as he intended. It's him trying his best. And yeah, this little guy is my inner child, just trying his best. He knows, and this little guy was also responsible for the actions that I did to you. So, uh, yeah, I'm not, yeah, an apology is not gonna like do anything. It's not gonna like change the situation, but yeah, so I couldn't forgive you, but this inner child still forgave you and still want to be friends. But if you can't see it, then that's fine. It's just know that we're both actually sorry. Yeah, my little guy doesn't actually talk at all. He only shows expressions and just types through it. Um, for like a while now, I sometimes like help him try to communicate, and even around the times that we voice chatted, they're they're mostly just like my realistic thoughts. Little, they're mostly just like me and the little guy just working together. We both honestly wanted the best for you. I just like me. It was either way. Either way, like That's all. That is honestly the final thing I want to like say. I'm sorry that me and my inner child just got in the way. You don't have to forgive us. You don't even have to like acknowledge it. Know that just know that am I don't. Yeah, the only thing I could just say is I'm sorry. That's the only thing I could say. But yeah, everything will be back to normal. It will take me a while to upload a video. Just hopefully you guys understand that me closing Jacob's Riddle was the hardest thing to do. Hardest it was actually an obvious red flag when it comes to like how the project's doing. It's honestly the first time I had to scrap a project and announce it publicly. So thank you guys so much for watching like this video and taking the time to understand on why I had to make this decision. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.